Hello, nerds. We are doing some reaction videos. It has been a minute since we've done reaction videos, and I have everything set up so I can do reactions the way I want to do them. So we have an instrument in hand, we have videos to talk about. The only thing left to do is to get into, oh no, I don't know if I labeled these correctly, so hopefully this transitions properly. Well, hello there, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for this reaction video. We have a couple of things to get out of the way before we can get back to said video. First and foremost, I do reactions as more of a initial analysis. So we're going to be stopping this. We're going to be talking over certain things. We're going to be replaying sections. We're going to be doing a lot of things that are not conducive to somebody who just wants to watch the original content. If you would rather watch the original content uninterrupted, then please go do that. I definitely would recommend that before you join me here on this reaction and analysis. Beyond that, I have to get my qualifications out of the way. I have been training in music since I was a little kid, which means approximately 30 years. I have been a professional musician and studio producer for about 20 of those 30 years. I have also been making, directing, and editing music videos and YouTube content for over a decade at this point. So I have a base of knowledge that lends itself to adding something constructive to this conversation. And that is exactly what this is. This is a conversation. This is my interpretation of what we are about to react to and analyze. If you have a different interpretation, that's what the comment section is for. Let's have a conversation about this thing, about why it may or may not be the greatest thing ever, whatever it is. I welcome the comments. I do request, though, that you try and be constructive with your criticism, or you at least have some sort of knowledge base to work from, because gotcha moments are not going to work in this comment section. I do have a pretty strong knowledge base and a pretty strong opinion most of the time. So, all of that being said, thank you very much for joining me right now, and let's get back to your regularly scheduled reaction video. That's right. It is reaction time with Generally Nerdy. So this reaction, we are going to be doing, I think that volume might be a little loud. This reaction, we are going to be doing to Tim Pool. You already saw the headline because you clicked on the video. This song came out a week ago. So for anyone who doesn't know who Tim Pool is, I mean, you're on YouTube. You probably at least have an inkling of that name. Tim Pool is a political commentator. He is doing a lot of things to change culture, make things a little bit more welcoming to everyone and not just a certain mindset, I guess, is a way to look at that. Though I know people are going to take issue with my categorization of him as such. What else do you need to know about Tim Pool? He fancies himself a musician. This will be the first time. So all of my reactions I do raw as possible. This will be the first time I have listened to a Tim Pool song in its entirety. Like I've listened to bits and pieces of his previous releases, kind of mostly as background noise. Haven't really reported on much of his music for the main show. But yeah, he's been a political commentator for some time. He's had a pretty successful YouTube channel for the last couple years. And this is the kind of music he makes. So yeah, without any further ado, let's swap this over. Oh, of course that didn't stick like it should have. 1 second, por favor. This guy goes there. Okay. All right, so here we go. Tim Pool. I believe the name of the song is Bright Eyes. Let's do this.
In spite of everything they threw, take down the pictures. In spite of everything you knew, this is not.
Okay, so jumping from Jump Street. Not a terrible voice. Like, I honestly expected this to be much more subpar. I'm not much for the emo, so I can't necessarily speak to the quality of the music because, yeah, if left up to me, this would be a little bit more of a rockin' song. But Tim is doing an emo tune. From the way I understand it, that's basically how all of his music is. This one is a little bit more sappy, though, as he describes it as a love song. And so let's see if we can find, we're going to go back a little bit and try and get this vocal melody, because my tuning is a little bit lower than theirs, but let's take a look at this.
Take down the pictures. In spite of everything you knew, this is not
D.
the way
D sharp.
for you to go. The regions.
So rock bass syndrome immediately, as soon as we get what is that? That's G. As soon as we get the bass guitar, it's just a boring ass bass line. Kind of the way emo goes, though, from my experience. So yeah, I guess I understand it, but like, I don't know. I feel like if you're trying to sell this as a preferred over the mainstream, then you better make it better than the mainstream, I feel like. And so far it's not. It's pretty mediocre. Yeah, underwhelming, I guess, is a good way of saying it. There's a little bit going on in the bottom end. Oh, hey, that's Ian. Whoa. Weird bridge transition. Weird bridge transition. All right, so let's get back a little bit. So we got this. They're going sharp, I guess, to match his voice, I would imagine. All right, what is that? Doo-doo. Like that, the melody change is just a little jarring. Yeah, G. Pretty simple for him to be playing over the top. Oh, look, it's Phil Labonte. Hi, Phil. Just really sitting on that C sharp. What is that? All right, so the that just it feels like it's out of the key of the rest of the song. Break lines. I can't find the note. Oh no. Somebody's gonna cry. Yeah, break lines. It's not that C sharp that he's spent. Is it the third to the C sharp, which is the, what is that, G or A rather? Yeah, that's where he goes. So he jumps up to it. So all right. So the reason that feels weird is because usually it feels like a key change is what it is, and usually a key change, something that's that much of a contrast to where the rest of the song sits, is usually approximately a fifth. If you do anything other than a fifth, then it's trying to draw attention to it because of its different feel. I don't know how I feel about going to the 3 on that. That seems a little, I mean, kind of is what it is. It's not my song, but like, I don't know. That feels really off to me. Solid song so far though. Like I can't really complain too much about the song itself, aside from the genre being something I don't necessarily dig, but I mean, to each their own. Yeah, slightly sharp. I could also be a little flat, but I'm tuned right before I started recording, so I think they're on sharp to match Tim's voice. Which, I mean, so like Metallica, if you want to go for something a little more in my genre, Metallica always tunes to E flat because of James's voice. So it's not uncommon for half a step difference in tuning to match the singer's voice. I just, I don't know, that A feels really out of place. I want to go back, though. Let's talk a little bit of video production. Where is it? Right here? Might have gone back too far. Yeah. Where'd it go? No, okay. Didn't go back far enough. I think it's right here. This is a really cool shot. Or a really cool effect, I guess. That is a combination of two shots. That right there. All right, so that right there. There are two ways to do that. Well, two obvious ways to do this. I'm sure obviously there's a million ways to skin a cat, so you could do this any number of other ways. But the two ways that I would look at this and go, I dropped my pick. The two ways I would look at this and go, all right, this is probably what they did is first, because of the jittery nature of the shot, you sorry, distracted. Because of the jittery nature of the shot, you can have your cameraman just shaking the camera in a very specific way, and then when you are in the other, let's see if I can scooch this forward one frame. Nope, I don't have that control. When you have the other, let's just go forward. There, when you have this shot, and I think this might actually be what they're doing. When you're on this shot, you're also shaking the camera in the same way that you're shaking for the other shot. And then in post, you can just clip them together, just splice and insert, and it works just fine. However, I think an easier way to have done this, and Tim's got the money to do it this way. An easier way to have done this would be to overshoot as far as your resolution. So let's say this is a 1080 video, which I'm pretty sure it is. So 1080p video, you take and shoot it in something bigger, 2K, 4K, whatever. That way you have the ability to shake the camera in post. It's a shake the camera in post. Then you line up your shots so that way you can perfectly line up this drum kit. You can take this circle and make it. Oh no, that went back. You can take the circle of the kick in front. Get there already. Right there. You can take the circles because see, they don't really line up perfectly. They don't, because you have the kick on the other shot is over here and this one's here. Whereas so that's even more evidence that what they did was just shook the camera. So again, you take this and you do an over sampled shot. So you have a little bit of jitter room. You crop in on your over-sampled shot, and then you splice your two shots together so that you have this perfect alignment of the kick drum, so that it's an even more what's the word I'm looking for? It's an even more effect. It's an even more effective. There we go. An even more effective effect. You take and you that way it looks like this is potentially like a dream sequence, or you're dealing with two different times, or whatever the attempted effect is here. You can relay that better if you have these lined up perfectly. Then you have your two shots that are oversampled. Then you just take in your video editing software and add some keyframes to jitter it, and you have one solid shot that is moving in unison these two different images. I think that would have been a better and, like I said, more effective way of doing this. But, I mean, it's still pretty cool, I guess. Phil going crazy, man. So here's something that if you're gonna have three guitar players, you should do this more. I think they're kind of doing it here, but it's recorded differently than you would assume, judging by the way they shot the video. So You have 3 guitar players. You've got Ian over here, Tim here, and then I don't know who the other guy is playing the lead guitar on the far side. So it sounds like they recorded one of these 2 guitars as an acoustic, because you can really hear the plucking of the strings, and it sounds like there's a little bit of an acoustic body to the overall wall of noise that they're producing here. So very likely one of the guitars recorded here is an acoustic, and then you have double up on the electric playing the same thing, and then you have the lead guitar doing the little noodly bit over the top. Something that the Foo Fighters have done to pretty good effect. I still feel like it's fairly underused effect in the Foo Fighters as well, and Dave Grohl is God. So something that the Foo Fighters have done to pretty good effect is layering that differently. Instead of this guitar, instead of the acoustic, we're going to call it, instead of the acoustic guitar and the other rhythm electric guitar playing the exact same thing, and then you're just relying on the difference in the instrument tonality to differentiate those 2 sounds and make it sound bigger. You have these 2 in harmony together. So you have, let's say Tim's playing, it looks like he's playing a G right here. Yeah, absolutely, because that's what Ian's playing. So you're playing the G. You could extend that chord higher. You could play just a different so if you're G, where is right? Because B, C, D. Yeah, G. So you're on G. You could play this G. You could play this G. You could play this G. Where is it? There. That wasn't a G. There we go. Yeah. So you could do just an inverse voicing of that same chord, or you can do an extended voicing where you're playing. So generally, a primary chord is the 1, 3, and the 5. So that could be the acoustic guitar here, could be doing the 1, 3, 5 main chord, and then the other rhythm guitar could be playing the 3, 5, 7 inversion of the chord. You could be playing the 5, 7, 9 inversion of the chord, which then becomes super spicy and much more sonically interesting. And then you just let the lead guitar do as he will. These 2 are just playing the exact same voicing of the exact same chord, and it just kind of serves to more muddy the waters than it does do part of what they're trying to do, in that it makes a much larger wall of sound. Sure, I get that, but there's a more effective way to do that same thing, and yeah, we just outlined it. So let's continue, shall we? The more fun version of that, I know we didn't really listen to much. The more fun version of that is you could also have like a lead rhythm situation, where right now we have 2 obvious rhythm guitars and 1 lead guitar. The other, what I'm proposing now would be you have 1 obvious rhythm guitar, and then you have another guitar, which, since we're portraying that all 3 guitars are electrics, this would make a lot more sense too. You have the obvious rhythm guitar playing just the open chords, or the strumming the chords like Tim is. So you have that, and then on top of that you have a very simple melody line. So what is he doing? Something like that. Something along those lines, and then you have your proper lead guitar doing like a more extended line of notes. So your second guitar, your second rhythm guitar would be almost playing lead as well, but it's a so rhythmic version of a lead line, and then the lead guitar player is playing something more spicy and more involved. Then that's a whole nother set of layering of dynamics, and I am a big fan of dynamics, so that's probably how, because there's so much space between these chords, because we're just strumming. We're just strumming. It doesn't. I know I hit a sour note. Shut up. It just. I don't know. It I guess it emphasizes the lyrics more, but I don't know. It's that comes across as more boring to me. But again, I'm a bit of a metalhead, so that would probably be why. All right. Also, what's the deal with the doomsday clock? Why is the love song got a doomsday clock in it? And what the hell is Phil Labonte supposed to be doing? That part has not been communicated well. Yeah, doomsday clock. What the hell? I don't get the significance of the doomsday clock, but okay. Trash House Records. They're the Timcast record label right there. Okay, so I guess we didn't it's been so long since I've done a reaction video. We didn't do the expectations. So I can't really talk about whether or not the expectations were met, but the final thoughts for this, it's sufficient. Like this is something I can see getting played on like modern alternative radio, or something getting played on I don't know, maybe even like an active rock station or something, but like definitely not for me. I much prefer Phil's band, All That Remains, but I just it is competently produced. Like the production is very well done. It's competently performed. There were no real performance issues aside from the ones where I was hitting sour notes. There's nothing to write home about as far as like whether or not it was great or whether or not it was bad. It was proficient. And that's about as far as we can go. I don't necessarily think that, I mean, I understand why he's selling a lot of songs. I understand why he's finding himself on Billboard. If this is the quality of production, if this is the kind of music he's putting out, then yeah, it totally makes sense. But yeah, just not really for me, I guess. So that's where we're going to call this reaction video. Thank you very much, nerds, for sticking around, for listening to my opinions. If you enjoyed the song, then I urge you to go, like I said at the beginning, go watch it. Go watch the video on YouTube. Go give them a million different plays. I think in order for an artist to make any music on any streaming platform, you have to have something like 1,500 or is it 15,000 plays in order to equal one song sell. So if you're just streaming it for free and you want to help out the artist, then you got to keep it on repeat, or just spend the whatever it is, 70 cents, dollar, whatever they're charging, and purchase the track if you enjoyed it. But by all means, go listen to it on your own and form your own opinion, and come back and let's have the conversation about what you thought down in the comment section. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining me for this reaction video. Stay tuned. There is going to be some interesting updates for the channel in the very near future. We'll see you on the next regularly scheduled episode, assuming this is up before it. And yeah, as always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.